to this year's 6th year CAO presentation 2020. It's such a shame that we can't do this in person, but we'll plough on regardless. So your sons and daughters would have received a presentation on the CAO from either myself, my name is Charlene Paris, I'm one of the guidance counsellors here. So if it wasn't me, it was Miss O'Connell, who is the other guidance counsellor here at school. And the first and most important thing we would have been stressing to your children at the moment is to be doing research. Spend this time wisely. Actually look into the courses that you're considering for next year in depth. Find out how long the course is, what the minimum entry requirements are, what the course content is, what subjects are taught in the course, what opportunities there are for employment after the course, or what opportunities there are to progress into further study. If the students don't know the answers to these questions, we'll often turn them around and say, it sounds like you need to do more research. It is not your job or our job or anyone's job to choose the course for your children. Research on their behalf is key because it is ultimately them who know what they enjoy best. So research, so important. The first year dropout rate at college can be quite high simply due to a lack of research. So the options that your children have going forward from the Leaving Cert. They can first of all opt to do a level 5 course, which is a PLC course, and that is 1 year. That is nothing to do with CAO, but it is still an option and it's one I'll come back to at a later stage. If your son or daughter is planning to apply to the CAO, then they will be planning to apply to either a level 6 course, which is a 2 year, a level 7, which is a 3 year, or a level 8, which is a 4 year. Levels 6, 7 and 8 take place in ITs and universities, and they are the 3 types of courses that can be accessed through the CAO. So education almost works like a ladder. Your sons and daughters have their level 3 at the moment, they've done their junior cert, they're obviously working towards their Leaving Cert, they don't have that yet. So this is how we describe it to your sons and daughters. You're trying to move up your ladder so that when you leave here at school, you can be moving into a PLC, staying at level 5, or moving up to a 6 or a 7 or an 8 with the hope of down the line perhaps considering a level 9 or a 10. So when I mention research, where can your sons and daughters do this research? Well, the first port of call can often be the CAO handbook. Now the CAO handbook doesn't actually have any information about courses in it, it just lists the course titles. But this can be a good way to begin researching courses. I would have said to my students, for example, that why don't you sit down and actually look at what the CAO has to offer? Read the course titles and then go off to your Qualifax or your careers portal and find out all of the information that I said earlier about that particular course. And it might actually expand the number of options that you're considering. So Qualifax and Careers Portal, I'll show you a screenshot of their home pages in a second just so that you can familiarise yourself with what they look like. But those 2 websites will be the key ones that myself and Miss O'Connell will be talking to 6th years in terms of research. Anything and everything that they want to know for careers, future, going forward are all based on those 2 websites. Access College is a great website if you want to find out more about the HERE and DARE programs. Myself and Miss O'Connell would have spoken extensively to 6th years about what these are, what they can offer students and how they go about applying for them. UCAS is the website for anybody planning to apply to college in the UK. Another great way to research is to attend open days. Now, obviously they're virtual this year, but they are done really well. There's lots and lots of information to be had, lots of opportunities for dialogue, to engage with people in the colleges and universities, talking to staff, talking to students. They're really well done. I would be posting about when virtual open days are on our careers page, our Instagram page, at HFCS_careers. current students and graduates, also great sources of information. I would encourage a conversation between your sons and daughters and anyone and everyone they know who is in college, who has finished college, who is working, what courses they do. It's all information gathering at this point. So Qualifax, I mentioned, this is their homepage. Your sons and daughters should be very familiar with this website. Equally, Careers Portal, this is their homepage. They should be very, very, very familiar with it and using it constantly. So the actual CAO itself, the CAO is the Central Applications Office in Galway. They act as almost a middleman, if you like, between your sons and daughters and the colleges, the higher education institutes that they apply to. So the way that I usually describe it to sixth years is, if we were living in America, for example, and you wanted to apply to do 6 different courses in 5 different colleges, you would have to do an individual application for each course, for each college, that all have to be different. Thankfully, we don't have that system. It's more centralised. We just do one application through the CAO, and the CAO communicate with the colleges on your behalf. They have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with setting points. They're the middleman. They offer you your college place but don't actually have anything to do with the points. So who can apply to the CAO? If your child is planning to apply to do a level 8 course, then they must have a minimum of 2 higher level 5s on 2 papers. But if they're planning to apply to Trinity, then it is 3. After that, they have to have 4 O6s or H7s, so an O6 and being 40 to 49%, or a H7 being 30 to 39%. After that, they must meet any minimum entry requirements that are course specific, and then the points decide. This is something myself and Ms. O'Connell are really trying to emphasise with our students, because oftentimes they become really points focused and they forget about the minimum entry requirements. So always check those. They can be found on Qualifax or Careers Portal. If your child is planning to apply to a level 6 course or a level 7 course, they must have a minimum of 5 O6s or H7s, meet the minimum entry requirements that are course specific, and again, points decide after that. If it's a thing that your child doesn't do any higher level subjects, then they are not eligible to apply for a level 8. In that scenario, we would encourage any student to use what we describe as the ladder of opportunity. So a lot of times a student can enter into TUD, for example. This is the merging of the old DIT and IT Tala and IT Blanche together. They can apply for a place on a level 6 course that is 2 years. They can do their 2 years, pass their exams in the 2nd year, and then move into the 3rd year of a level 7 course in the same area. If they score the grades that are needed to progress after that 3rd year, they can again move into the 4th and final year of the level 8. So they could actually leave TUD, for example, with the level 8. They just went in on a level 6, which was lower points and less requirements, but they got the same qualification in the end. So try not to feel too disheartened if you feel like you may not be eligible. Some key CAO dates. Now these are on the inside cover on the first page of the CAO handbook, so nothing to kind of remember or start scribbling down here. It's all there for you to have a look at. So the CAO opened back in November on the 5th at 12, and it is not closed until the 1st of February at 5:15. Myself and Ms. O'Connell are always encouraging students to at least set up their CAO account before the 20th of January, simply because they can do so at a reduced cost of €30. If your sons or daughters haven't already set up their CAO, we would highly encourage them to do that before the 20th for €30. If they only set up their account between the 20th of January and the 1st of February, it costs €45. It's a needless waste of €15. if your son or daughter plans to apply to any restricted entry courses, they must have them on their CAO by the 1st of February. So what do I mean by that? In the CAO handbook, you will see that there are some courses that have the word restricted in brackets after the course title. And what restricted means is we require something additional from you besides your Leaving Cert. So you would see the word restricted beside courses like anything in music, acting, architecture, for example, where they would require things like an audition or a portfolio. Art would be the same. So if you are planning to apply to any of those courses, they cannot go onto your CAO after the 1st of February. The reason for that is that these auditions and these portfolios have to be submitted or have to take place before the Leaving Cert actually starts. So colleges need time to organise that and have that happen. So when the CAO closes on the 1st of February, it stays closed until the 5th of May. Now, myself and Miss O'Connell get lots and lots of students in panic mode between the 1st of February and the 5th of May because they feel like they've put down courses that they shouldn't have, they forgot to add courses on, they're not happy with the order that they put them in, etc. If a student wants to make any change to their CAO between the 1st of February and the 5th of May, it costs €10 per change. Pointless. So we try to calm those students down and tell them the change of mind facility opens on the CAO on the 5th of May, and you can make all of your changes that you need absolutely free of charge. So hear us tell you that from the 5th of May, change of mind, you can change as many times as you like. The only thing you can't do is add a restricted course on in May. You can't do that. So the CAO was reopened, as it were, on the 5th of May, and it does not finally close until the 1st of July. So why that's really good is because even after your child has done their Leaving Cert, they can still change their mind. So perhaps they think, well, God, I actually think I probably did better than I thought I would have done. Maybe I should put that course on that was a little bit higher points because perhaps I'm in with a chance now. Equally, they might think, oh God, I can't believe I put down that course that was 550 points on after having a shocker of a Leaving Cert. I might reconsider my options and take things off. When the CAO closes for the final time on the 1st of July, the offers then come out at the end of August, just so I have a more specific date for you in a later slide. So please bear in mind that the deadlines I've just outlined, they are strict. There is no wiggle room. When they say 5:15, they mean 5:15. I've mentioned the restricted courses, so please be mindful of that and encourage your sons and daughters not to leave everything to the last minute. 6th year is stressful enough for students and for you guys, so there's no need for any unnecessary pressure and panic to be happening in around these dates. So the stages of application so far, I've just mentioned. Quick recap. Please research, talk to people, attend your open days. Obviously study to maximise your points. CAO is where you do your application, and I'm going to talk you through that next. You will get a record of application from the CAO to say that you have applied. You can change your mind anytime from the 5th of May until the 1st of July, free of charge. The Leaving Cert results come out on the 10th of August 2021, which is actually a Tuesday. And then the offers and acceptances begin on the 13th of August, which is the Friday. So the turnaround is actually quite quick. The Tuesday will be the day that your sons and daughters get their Leaving Cert results. The offers will come out on the Friday. They will be given the weekend to think about it, and they will usually be required to accept or reject their offer by the following Monday. So in just under a week, the whole process will have happened. So things to just note that you are going to apply on the CAO website, where there is an interactive demo facility. This is a really good thing. It allows you to practice applying and doing an application as if it were your CAO, but it is just a practice. So if it's a thing, there were any mistakes made, it's not a big deal. It's just talking you through it. Better to know kind of on this side of things rather than it being a big mistake in a real application. Alert lists are another thing that we would have mentioned to students that are on the CAO website as well. What an alert list is the CAO handbook would have been printed and distributed back in the summertime. We would have had them delivered here to school in kind of September, October time. So obviously, like with anything in life, sometimes things change. So there are a number of courses that might have had some changes, maybe just in the course title, maybe there's been a change in a minimum entry requirement, perhaps a course is no longer running, or perhaps funding came through for a new course that wasn't listed in the CAO handbook. So any changes that have come about since the CAO handbook has been printed are all together in an alert list, and these alert lists can be found on the CAO website by institution. So if you were planning to go to UCD, for example, you can just click into their alert list and scan it to see, are there any changes in any of the courses that I plan to apply to? Just something to bear in mind. I've already mentioned the restricted courses, so I'll move on. So the actual application itself, it's on the CAO website. You will go into your application to register and create your own account with a password like you would when you set up any account online. I'm going to show you some screenshots in a second so you can see what it is I'm actually talking about. Once you pay, you are sent an email that you have to click on to confirm, and that generates a CAO number for you that you have to keep safe. Once you have that CAO number, you use it to log back into your application, and then you can actually start adding in courses. Your application number, your CAO number, well, your son or daughter's CAO number is very, very important to keep hold of. What myself and Miss O'Connell see year in, year out, students come up to us for a careers appointment. They say, oh, Miss, I'm after doing my CAO. Any chance you could throw your eye over for me, see what you think? I say, yeah, no bother, sit down there, log in. And they look at me and they say, do you have my CAO number? And I say, no, it's absolutely nothing to do with me whatsoever. So oftentimes students don't have them, they've forgotten what they are. It just creates an additional layer of stress and pressure, because then they have to contact the CAO, blah, 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 blah. So if your son or daughter hasn't made their CAO account yet, but they're going to, when they get their number, I always ask them to take a photo of it on their phone so that they have it all the time. The number is private. Any correspondence that there is between the CAO and your child needs to have the CAO number referenced in it. If your child wants to set up their account, they can absolutely do this at this stage. You don't have to put your courses in the order of preference until the 1st of July. So even just setting up the account is more than enough for right now. So what actually goes on the application form? It is actually very straightforward and very, very basic. So you're asked some personal information, name, address, date of birth, etc. You then have to indicate if you are applying for here, Dare, or Susie. So you'll be asked on 3 separate occasions, do you wish to apply for here or Dare, yes or no? For here, yes or no. Do you plan to apply for Dare, yes or no? Do you plan to apply for Susie, yes or no? Now, clicking yes is not the application for any of these things. It's just the indication that you intend to apply. The CAO only want to know this because with Susie, for example, because the CAO are acting on your child's behalf, if your child is entitled to a Susie grant, the CAO will be able to ensure that the money follows your child to whatever institution he or she accepts an offer in. So saying yes is not the application process. After that, you pop in your course choices, then you pay using a credit card or debit card. If you don't have one, there is an option to get a postal order in the post office. So here we are on the CAO website. On the very top there, you might notice a lovely green button that says apply. So that's the first thing that you will click. And when you click that, this is the screen that you will see. You will be asked for your son or daughter will be asked for their surname, their forename, their first name, their title, their date of birth, their sex, and then they have to tick down the bottom there that they haven't already received a CAO number. After that, your postal code or your air code, and then you pop in your address and you tick a box to the right of that saying that that's the correct address, phone number, mobile number, and then you're asked, do you wish to receive messages from the CAO and the higher education institutions that you're applying to? We would encourage the students to tick yes, because it can be quite helpful for being alerted to a deadline. For example, the CAO will send you a message saying, oh, we're going to be closing tomorrow at 5:15, don't forget, blah, 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 blah. And they will never text you again after the leave insert, so might as well just say yes. Now, the next page that you'll meet in your application looks very complicated, but it's actually very, very simple. You're being presented with 8 boxes that describe 8 different scenarios that a CAO applicant could find themselves in. The only box that your son or daughter has to tick here is box 1. He or she is saying, I'm using my leave insert 2021 to apply to the CAO. That is it. If it's a thing your son or daughter ends up doing a PLC after school, for example, they will do their CAO application next year. And the only difference is if you're using your PLC as well to apply for college, you are ticking box 1 and 2. But for this time around, box 1 is the only box that your child needs to tick. Down the bottom, you select that you're using a credit card, debit card, or if you're doing the post office option, that is the fee payment form. Now, at that point, you will have clicked submit, and then you will have gotten that email with your CAO number. So you can see here David Smith has a nice CAO number generated for him there. So now he just adds in some additional information. He adds in any school he attended. So obviously start, if this is the only school that your child has gone to, this is the only school you put down because you've just been asked for second level. If your son or daughter went to 2 or more, you put all of those in and what years that they went there. Now, at this point, you are able to start popping in courses. So when you click Add Level 8 Courses, this is the screen that will show up. You have boxes from 1 to 10, and you use the course codes from the CAO handbook that you type in to say, this is the course I want to apply for. We encourage students to fill up their CAO as much as they absolutely can. Then once you've done that, it will look something like this. So this student, David Smith, has put in 6 level 8 courses. He's popped in his codes, AL852, which is accounting in Athlone, BN113, horticulture, UCD, etc. So this is the screen that you will see. So always ensure that the course titles are correct. If there is an error, contact the CAO straight away. Once you are finished with adding in your level 8 courses, you will notice the box down the bottom right hand corner where you can then click to add your level 6 and your level 7 courses, so that ultimately you end up with 2 applications. So there are almost like 2 applications on the one. There's a level 8 list and a level 6 and 7 list. You can pick 10 level 8s and you can pick 10 level 6s or 7s, so that you ultimately have something that looks like this. So this person has put in 10 level 8s and 7 level 6s or 7s. Now, what myself and Miss O'Connell say, and for anyone who's maybe playing this presentation while sitting on the couch and has Coronation Street on the background, I don't blame you, but what I'm about to say is probably the most important thing I'll say in this presentation. And that is the phrase genuine order of preference. When your child is filling in their CAO from 1 to 10, number 1 should be their absolute dream course. The one that they cannot live without, they've been dreaming about, thinking about, researching about. They love it. They would love the campus of the college, everything about it. It's the dream. The second one should be, oh my God, I'm heartbroken. I didn't get my first choice, but I am equally as excited about my second. I love it. I'm thrilled. I'd be so lucky to get it. Third, I'm buzzing to do this still. I'm really happy. If I got offered this course, I'd be thrilled. Same with 4, delighted with my life. Oh my God, I'm so lucky. As we move into the kind of middle of our CAO, let's get more realistic. The ones that we put down from 1 to 4 perhaps might be the ones that we're really aspiring to get, we're working really hard to get them, but chances are they may be a little bit out of our reach. So the ones in the middle, the kind of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they should be courses that you are absolutely delighted to accept, but perhaps they're more achievable for you. So I'll give you an example. Perhaps you might have, your first or second choice be something like Law and Business in Trinity, which is 500 million billion points. But maybe the arts degree in Maynooth, which is 318, that has Law and Business as an option, might be something that's more attainable for me. So I would love to do Law and Business in Trinity so I can tell everyone how great I am, but perhaps it's something that I can actually achieve that is the exact same course, just in a different place, that I would still enjoy going to. So the ones in the middle, achievable, attainable, realistic, but the students should still really, really, really like them. Then at the end, we're talking safety net. Okay, these are the ones that I'm very confident that I can absolutely achieve. I've already been proving the whole time that I can get points in this region, but there's still courses that I want to do. If your son or daughter is like, I don't even like this course, then it shouldn't be on the CAO. All of your courses should be ones that you want to do. It should just be 1 is the one I want to do most, and 10 is the one I want to do least. So just in case you didn't hear me say it, genuine order of preference. Very, very important. So how are CAO places actually allocated? So when the exam results come out in August on the Tuesday, they're popped in to the CAO computer, and then the computer checks everyone's results. For every course that your child has applied for, the computer scans their list to see, does your son or daughter have the minimum entry requirements for this course? If your son or daughter meets the minimum entry requirements, then they calculate your child's points. Anyone who is eligible for this course because they've gotten the minimum entry requirements is popped on a list in order of the points that they've achieved. Then colleges tell the CAO, here's how many places that I'm going to offer on my course. So let's say it was a business course that had 75 places on it. The CAO has scanned everyone's results, checked if they're eligible with their minimum entry requirements, and they've checked their points. Now, because I know I have 75 places to give away on this business course, I take the person with the highest points, and then I take the 74 people after that person to make sure I have given my 75 places away. And whatever points that the 75th person got in their Leaving Cert, that is where the points are capped for that year. So when you see, the points for business and DCU were 412, that is because the 75th person got 412 points in their Leaving Cert. The CAO then makes offers to those 75 people, or however many there are on the course, starting with, like I said, that highest person, down, until all of the places have been offered. That's how it works. So students are normally given then 3 days to accept the offer, but it's very important to always check. So like I said, offer is normally issued the Friday, so you have the rest of the Friday to think about it, then the Saturday and Sunday, and you should be letting people know by the Monday. If your son or daughter fills in both of their lists, their level 8 list and their level 6 and 7 list, they will get 2 offers if they are eligible for 2 offers, and then they have a choice to make. If they want to accept their level 8 offer, doing that automatically rejects their level 6 or 7 offer. They don't have to make a further contact with anyone and say, listen, I'm sorry, I'm letting you down, blah, blah, blah. Nothing like that. Always think very carefully about the offer you do accept, because if you reject an offer, it doesn't mean that you're ever going to get offered anything else. My opinion would be always say yes, and you can turn down later. If you turn down straight away, it's very hard to get something at times later on. So a thing that myself and Miss O'Connell get asked all the time is, what do you think the points are going to be? What do you think the points are going to be? Last year they were this. I'm not sure if I can get that many. Do you think it will go down? And our answer is, I have absolutely no idea. The CAO have no idea. The colleges themselves have no idea. The points are simply based on how many places are available and how many applicants there are. So this year, 2020 just gone, for example, nursing shot up because obviously COVID inspired a lot of people. More people applied to nursing last year than the year before, and the points went up. If less people apply next year, the points will go down, and that is just simply how it works, and there is no way to tell. So, genuine order of preference is the only thing that's important so far. Your children do not need to try and guess what the points are going to be. All they have to do now is list their courses in genuine order of preference from their highest preference at 1 down to the lowest preference at 10. If your child is entitled to an offer, any offer, they will be offered the highest preference they are entitled to. If they meet the minimum entry requirements and the points for their first choice, they will get it absolutely. So always make sure the one you want is right at the top of that list. So here is the process. Once your child is offered a course, every course below that is now removed, gone, goodbye. There is no chance, none whatsoever, that they will be offered anything lower than this from their list. You can go up, so you may be offered a course higher, but you cannot go back down. So this is my little fictional example, okay? If I have these 5 courses on my level 8 list and I get 403 points in my Leaving Cert, I always say to the 6th years, which course will I get offered? The kids who go, UL Industrial Bio, yes, absolutely. My next question is, why can't I have Minute Science? Because I have enough points for Minute Science. And the answer is because it's below UL Industrial Bio. The CAO scanned my list. I had the minimum entry requirements for Trinity Science, but I didn't have the points. I had the minimum entry requirements for UCD Science, but I didn't have the points. I had the minimum entry requirements for UL Industrial Bio, and I had the points. That's what I got offered. Everything below that is now gone. If I want to do Minute Science above UL Industrial Bio, then I should have put Minute Science as my third choice. That's why it's important. Myself and Miss O'Connell have students coming up to us every year. Miss, I'm after getting offered my third choice, but I really wanted my fourth one. Well, then your fourth one should have been your third one. This is why genuine order of preference is so important. So here are some of the common errors that we see students make year on year. A, not enough research, can't stress that enough. Secondly, they list their courses in order of points instead of genuine preference. So they put the highest points course as number 1, second highest points as number 2, etc., etc. And it just does not work out that way. Students tend to either underestimate or overestimate their results. So we would have students who would be very low confidence at times, saying, oh, I don't think I'm going to put that course down because I probably won't get those points. I mean, like, I'm doing my best, but I don't know. put it down. It's not going to kill you. No one ever died putting a course down on their CAO. You might get it. You might have a cracking leaving cert where everything that you study comes up and things go your way. Just pop it down. The other side that we see are people overestimating, promising the sun, moon and stars. I'll absolutely put down that course. That's 450, 480, 500, 520. And I'm there saying, well, all of the evidence that we have here at school is that the highest points you've ever achieved are 280. So let's have more of a realistic conversation here instead of wasting spots on your CAO. So always try to kind of identify your lane and don't deviate miles from it, because that's not realistic. Some students target low points courses just to maybe guarantee themselves a place in a college rather than actually liking the course or knowing anything about it or what they can do with it afterwards. Some students then only target level 8 courses and they ignore the ladder of opportunity, the level 6 and 7 that I discussed earlier on, when actually someone can go in on a level 6 and still get a level 8 later on. Again, some students don't consider courses outside certain geographic areas. So obviously a number of our students, most in fact, apply for college in Dublin. That makes perfect sense. But where we're placed here in Rathcoole actually makes several other places quite handy. Maynooth is not too far away, so Kildare is only down the road. IT Carlow, not too far. Even Athlone, not too far either. So if you're passionate about doing something, Dundalk is another one. If you're passionate about something, then the points can often be lower in other geographic areas. So it's something to, again, just make note of and do some research into. So we encourage students to choose 10 options for both of your lists, if at all possible. Always list the courses in genuine order of preference. Make sure also to have other options just in case you don't get any offer, because that does happen sometimes. PLCs are a great route that I'll talk a little bit more about in a couple of minutes. Always check the alert lists on the CAO website just to make sure you're up to date with the most recent entry requirements, etc. So try not to depend totally on getting your first, second or third choice, because the reality is you may be offered your fourth, your fifth, your sixth, your seventh, your eighth, ninth or even 10th choice. So do be prepared for this and choose wisely. Don't disregard the genuine order of preference rule. It's so important. You can't go too far wrong by obeying that rule. Don't ignore level 6 and 7 and don't target low points courses. PLCs I just have cropped up a couple of times throughout the course of this presentation, and they have come on leaps and bounds over the years and are great entry routes into level 6, 7 and 8 courses down the line. If it's a thing that a student applies to the CAO, I would always encourage them to apply for any PLCs in that subject area as well, just in case they don't get an offer. Because again, myself and Miss O'Connell have heartbroken kids up here year on year who maybe got great points but didn't meet one of the minimum entry requirements, have no PLC offer, and then they're in a panic. So the PLCs are open at the moment. They will continue to stay open for a number of months. So it's just another option to have on the table. They offer a huge variety of courses in a number of places in all of these areas that you can see in front of you. It's not an exhaustive list. This is just how many I was able to fit onto my slide. The one that I want to draw just attention to is the last one there, the pre-university courses. So a number of PLCs are actually designed specifically to link in with a particular course in a particular university. So it's almost like a foundation for the university course, which is great. So for example, Green Hills College has a pre-university science course that links into their science degree at UCD, which was 510 points or whatever it was last year. So if it's a thing you're a student going, do you know, I'm kind of been hitting the 450s, 460s, 470s. I'm going to try my best to get above that 500 and get into UCD science. Why wouldn't you have the PLC as a backup and potentially use that in a year's time to get into UCD? It just makes sense. The access routes I mentioned here and there briefly earlier. So I would have had conversations, and so would Miss O'Connell, with our students about here and there, and just had very general talks around did they think they were eligible for it. If it's a thing that you think you are eligible for here or there, you must have indicated by the 1st of February that yes, I do plan to apply to here, or I do plan to apply to there. If you tick that box before the 1st of February, you must have done the online application on the CAO website by the 1st of March. At that point, when you've done the application, the CAO will generate a list of documents that you now need to send them. And those documents must be in to the CAO by the 15th of March. So I'm just highlighting that timeline there for anyone who plans to apply to avail of any of these access routes. If you need to contact the CAO at any point, your son or daughter needs to contact them, there is a contact us facility on their website, and you must always use your CAO number when quoting any issue. They won't entertain you otherwise. Another little tip is, if you have to post the documents to the CAO, there's actually a quite handy page on the CAO handbook at the very back where you can get a stamp from the post office to say that you've sent something. Because like with anything in life, human error, things get lost, God knows what happens. You don't want to be someone who's losing out on an opportunity simply because the CAO are telling you they didn't receive your documents. If you have proof that you sent them, then that increases the likelihood of you getting into your access route. So that's a handy thing to have. The CAO then, around May time, they will send what's called a statement of application. And what needs to be checked at this point, so it's the CAO basically saying, here is the information that we have for you. Is it correct? So what your child needs to be checking is, are all my courses here? Are they all shown? Are they in the order that I put them in? Are the codes all correct? Is my exam number correct? Are all the exams I'm sitting for my Leaving Cert, are they all here? Are they all mentioned? If your child doesn't receive this statement of application by the 1st of June, contact the CAO immediately. So, just to sum up, I'm just about finished, how to make the best decision for next year. Research, can't say it enough. Research allows you to shortlist. Use the CAO website, use Qualifax, use Careers Portal, check Access College for your access routes, and UCAS if you're going there. Discuss all of your options with yourselves. This is what we're telling the students. Talk to your parents, talk to your teachers, talk to your guidance counsellor or anyone else. So if you guys as parents have any kind of questions at all, feel free to contact myself at c.peris@hfcs.ie, or if your child has Miss O'Connell, they will know if they have me or if they have Miss O'Connell because we have been meeting them. So whoever they've been having careers appointments with is their guidance counsellor, or Miss O'Connell at k.o'connell@hfcs.ie. We'd be more than happy to email you guys back, pick up the phone, meet you if it's an issue that needs to be discussed in person. We're more than happy to help at any time. So that is all. Thank you so much for your attention. Like I said, it would have been great to see you guys in person, but nonetheless, I look forward to, fingers crossed, seeing you all at graduation. Please God. Thanks a million. Take care.